Today, I'm going to be explaining why I used to suck at reverse De La Riva and how I was able to fix it and make it into one of my strong points. It wasn't some move I learned. It wasn't like I didn't drill enough Kiss of the Dragons. It was just some concepts that I was missing, and these concepts honestly apply to any kind of guard you play. The match we're going to be watching is right after I got my blue belt. I started playing around with more reverse De La Riva instead of just playing butterfly guard like I used to. Now to start off, we're going to see why reverse De La Riva is one of the most important guards to know. Because as you see here, the top person starts going around my legs. And the thing is, when someone starts going around your legs and they're standing, the only guard I could realistically go to immediately off the bat is reverse De La Riva. My hips would need to completely turn for me to go to De La Riva, and I would need to get both my legs inside to get into single leg X. You're going to have to go to reverse De La Riva here, and that's why it's so important to know how to play this guard. So here, he comes to the side, I get this leg in the middle, and now we're going to be in a position where it's going to be reverse De La Riva. Let me play through this failed attempt, and then I'll explain the mistakes I made. So, right here, it is, I invert, he just sprawls out at me, and nothing happens, and then he starts getting a pass attempt going. I sit back up, but nothing comes from it. So, let's explain the mistakes I made there. The first mistake, and the biggest mistake I make in this entire match attempting to attack this guy, is me trying to attack a stable body. On your back, you're on an unathletic position. You're kind of at a disadvantage. Because of that, before we attack, we want to first get some kind of off balance going, right? So instead of me just trying to go right here and invert, where this guy's in perfect position, just sprawl out on me, what I want to do first is start off balancing him and getting his hands on the mat. So an example of what that would look like is right here. So you see here, I'm in reverse De La Riva. This is a match from later. I'm a purple belt. And if you see here, I don't first just try to invert on him. What I first do, if you look at his knee right here, is I push him back. I use my knees, and I kind of just extend my legs out a little bit. Just get him pushing his knee back a bit, right? Now, what does that do? Because I'm pushing his knee back, I'm encouraging him to go forward. So instead of him, so first off, me pushing his knee back, now he's not in a perfectly stable position. He doesn't just get to be where he wants to be. I'm starting to off balance him to an extent. And now that I do that, he's going to drive his knee forward, and that gives me the chance to invert. So you see there, instead of me trying to just force an attack, I'm like, oh, I'm in reverse De La Riva. Let me use the move I know from reverse De La Riva. I'm thinking, let me off balance him until I get the right opportunity to go for an inversion. So, and that goes into another thing, specifically for inversions. For me, inversions always go the best when their weight comes forward and I can get their hands on the mat. So essentially, you see here, this guy brings his weight forward. I use my hand right here to guide his arm onto the mat. And this is going to go into the next concept that we're going to talk about in general on Jiu-Jitsu. I get his hand on the mat, and now I'm in the perfect position to fully invert. And I start going for a leg attack here. I could have just came up as well, but, got to do some of those leg locks sometimes. Now, but there's another thing I did there that I should have done here, which is the idea of, as the bottom person, I don't want the top person's hands to be on me. I want them on the mat. So this goes with off-balancing. When I off-balance somebody, I'm trying, specifically off-balancing them forward, I'm trying to get their hands on the mat, rather than him having his hands on me. So, first off, I would just want to clear this off and not allow him to have this hand on the hip. Which, leads to another issue of me allowing him to get his hand on the hip. I should have just cleared this off a long time ago rather than just trying to weave it. Because if he has his hand on me, he's going to be able to limit my movement, and I'm not going to be able to off-balance him as well. In general, in Jiu-Jitsu, you don't want their hands on you. And that combined with me just not off-balancing him just led to a very failed inversion attempt that, not going to work out. Not nice. All right. So here's another example of it. You see here, this guy has his hand on me right here. Now, another reason this is bad is because one of our goals as a bottom person is to not get our guard passed. And one of the things we can do to stop them from passing our guard is to not allow them to control our torso, right? If you imagine a guard pass and side control, they have their arm on one side of your torso, their knee on the other, they're hugging around your hips, and you can't move, right? So we want to stop that by always having our legs, our arms in front of them so they can't start getting to our torso. So him having this arm right here is just giving him easy access to start diving in and start grabbing around my torso. So, and this is one of the things about framing is I am stopping him from doing that with this frame right here. However, it would be better if I just cleared this hand off, because then my knee could just do the whole job here. I'm not in any threat. My knee can just be to my chest, and he won't be able to get chest to chest. So here's an example of that. Now in this clip, I'm also combining reverse De La Riva with inside position, but same idea applies. So right here, you see here, I get my foot on the shin on shin right there, which is a little bit different, but same idea. And as you see here, I'm always fighting the top arm. So here, I'm trying to get under him. And you see here, I'm always just fighting this hand. Because if I fight that hand, my knee can just do all the job of maintaining distance. I don't really need to worry about him closing that distance, having to frame the whole time. I'm now able to do two things at once. I'm able to attack him while also not giving him the opportunity to attack me, right? Because all the guard passes he wants to go for, they're going to use that arm. So me attacking that arm specifically is going to make it really hard for him to do anything. So don't just allow them to have that hand on your hip. Don't allow them to just do whatever they want with that hand. That's the main hand they're going to be using to attack you, to underhook you, whatever they want to do. So always be fighting that hand and using that to defend yourself and go into your offense. Same idea here. Don't attack a stable body. Here, this guy has perfect weight distribution. So me trying to just invert on him is just asking for me to get countered, you know what I mean? So what I want to do first is off balance him and then start going for inversion rather than, just trying to shoot one out right there. This is a clip of when I started getting better. I don't know where this quote actually comes from. I don't know if it's actually Napoleon who said this. Sun Tzu. I don't know. The quote is, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And I think this is a good example of that. A lot of times, people just try spamming knee slices, attacking. And that's a great time to use a reverse De La Riva inversion. Because, before I showed how to, push them back, kind of bait them to come back towards you, invert. But a lot of people, maybe they're used to just getting away with this, so they'll just dive their leg through, giving you the perfect reaction you need to invert. And then you can just take advantage of that. So this guy just steps a leg in the middle here. And you see, I just hit a quick inversion. And then I'm able to come on top. I get 2 points, eventually able to pass and get the submission here. And the idea here is that what this guy did is he just took a step in the middle. And he's making himself unstable. It's this idea that an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Right? I didn't get the best grade in physics class, but I remember that quote. So essentially what it means is, if he's coming towards you and he's moving, it's really easy to just be like, okay, keep using that momentum and take him too far in that direction. But if he's sturdy, like that last guy was, he was just sturdy, not moving at all, it's going to be really hard to use any kind of momentum because there's no momentum to use. He's sturdy, he's not moving. I wish I could have fixed these mistakes earlier. And if you want me to fix some of your mistakes, join Jiu-Jitsu Lab. There you can send me your rolling footage and I'll record a video of me breaking it down and giving you advice. It's in the link down below if you want to check it out.